What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Terence Crawford versus Shawn Porter, and this was a 12-rounder for the WBO Welterweight World Championship, and this fight was Saturday, November 20th, from the Michelob Ultra Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, and this fight was broadcasted on ESPN pay-per-view, and in this fight, Terence Crawford was able to get a scintillating 10th round stoppage victory over Shawn Porter. The bout scored 86-85 in favor of Terence Crawford. I thought it was really, really close. And just to break down the fight, Terence Crawford, he started off very, very slow, and at one point after the first 5 rounds, I actually had Porter ahead 49-46, which is 4 rounds to 1, and Porter was lunging in very effectively. He was using his pressure effectively, landing nice hooks to the head, overhand rights, and specifically in the third round, Crawford was buckled a bit, or his legs sort of stiffened up after getting hit with an overhand left, it was, I believe, or it was a left hook. It was followed by an overhand right, then a left hook from Porter, which buckled Crawford back a bit. And then after the fifth round, Porter really started to pick it up, or should I say Crawford really started to pick it up, and then he won on my scorecard from like round 7 to rounds 9, or even maybe even round 6, I believe so. But nonetheless, Crawford really started to pick it up. He started to outclass Shawn Porter. He started to time him a bit more. Although there was a couple of swing rounds in between those rounds where I had Crawford winning a lot, Porter still had some decent performances in those rounds, but there was just a couple that Crawford clearly won, specifically round 9, if I were to mention. Round 7, I believe, was a swing round. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but from what I remember, it was a pretty close round as well. But really, it was Crawford actually on the back foot, being the one boxing and trying to lure Porter in. As many times Crawford would try and land that counter left hook, or depending on what stance he was, it was either a left or a right hook, a check hook on the outside. But that hook really did work a lot. He was able to lure Porter in, as I mentioned before, make him look silly. Porter, he put up a valiant effort, but still, he ultimately got stopped. And to talk about that stoppage, in the 10th round, early on, Terence Crawford landed a beautiful left hook / uppercut punch. I didn't really know the exact shot it was, whether it was an uppercut or a hook, but it was sort of like a lower hook, I guess you could say. But anyways, it was either hook or an uppercut. Landed flush on Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter went down. Excellent shot, might I say. Porter got up, but then immediately after, Crawford went in for the kill, landed a left, I believe it was like left, right, 2 1-2s straight to the sort of head temple area of Porter. Porter went down. He got up, but then his corner waved it off, and that was it. Shawn Porter got stopped in the 10th round. Terence Crawford now with the best victory of his career thus far. Excellent win. And I know that probably Errol Spence fans, and I'm not even a fan of Crawford, but I know Errol Spence fans, a lot of them are going to say, oh, this is Spence leftovers, or this is whatever. Crawford stopped Spence, and he was able to stop Kell Brook in however many rounds. I believe it was 4 rounds. So come on, those are some excellent performances, and hopefully we will get to see Spence versus Crawford in the next coming months. And since saying that, what is next for Terence Crawford? I would love to see him fight Errol Spence Jr. in a welterweight world title unification, if not to possibly fight Yordenis Ugas, the WBA champion. I really just want to see him fight a big fighter. Whether that be, as I mentioned before, Ugas or Spence. There's also a lot of other good fighters in the welterweight division. Another fighter to mention could be a Virgil Ortiz Jr. He's an excellent welterweight prospect / contender. Very young, very powerful. I'm not even going to call him a prospect anymore. He's a pure contender, ranked highly by BoxRec as well, ranked highly by the WBO, and I would love to see Crawford even take on Virgil Ortiz. That'd be an excellent fight. So it's either Virgil Ortiz Jr. or Yordenis Ugas, or even Errol Spence Jr. as possible opponents for Terence Crawford. Otherwise, I wouldn't want to see any other fight. Maybe a couple other fighters, but those are the main 3 that I would love to see next, and that he could possibly have next. But for Shawn Porter, losing here for the 4th time, I still think he's a world-class welterweight. I would love to see him fight a guy in the top 15, top 10, possibly even the winner of like an Algieri versus Ben, if Ben wants to really step up that high, or even he could possibly fight Imantas Stanionis if Stanionis isn't going to fight Ugas, because there's a lot of complications with that fight being made, because Ugas is complaining a lot that he shouldn't fight Stanionis. So I would love to see, or maybe even Porter versus Ennis. That'd be a good fight. I would love to see that one. That'd really test Javon Ennis. So I still think Shawn Porter is world class at welterweight and should get a pretty big fight next, whether that be Stanionis, Ennis, etc. And that's only if Stanionis does not fight Ugas, which he probably will, if I'm going to be honest. So overall, Terence Crawford defeats Shawn Porter by a knockout in the 10th round to retain his WBO welterweight world title and to get the best victory of his career thus far. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.